Hey babes, happy Labor Day weekend. Welcome to BJJ Babes episode number 4. I'm your host, Laura. This week's guest is an Alfredo Barum black belt, Sophia Nordeno. I heard about Sophia when I was very new to Jiu Jitsu. I hear a lot about this black belt named Sophia from Sweden, probably because she's good friends with my coach Harlan and they train together. So I would just hear a lot about what a good fighter she was, all of her fights, and I was like, I really want to meet this chick. Like, she sounds like a badass. I think part of what I heard about her was that she trained while pregnant and then fought very soon after giving birth. So I was really excited when I finally got to meet her at an open mat at Barum, and I've rolled with her at least once. She's kicked my ass. She's really fun to roll, but really tough. And she's got a really cool story. So really excited to share it with you all. And without further ado, here is my interview with Sophia Nordeno. Hello, we are live with Sophia. Hi, Sophia.
Hey,
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And for everyone, this is Sophia Nordeno. Sophia, would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Absolutely. So, hi everyone. My name is Sophia Nordeno. I am originally from Sweden, but now I live here in sunny California and San Diego. I'm a black belt under Alfredo Barum since 2017, and I've been doing Jiu Jitsu now for it's almost 20 years, 19 or 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then here in San Diego, I teach Jiu-Jitsu as my full-time gig, basically. So I teach at five different academies right now. Everything from kids programs to co-ed programs to women's classes, and then privates, of course.
Mm-hmm. Sophia, you said you've been training for almost 20 years. So what first got you started in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so it's actually a funny story because I was doing competitive horseback riding when I grew up.
What?
And yeah, I was doing jumping, what do you call it? When you do courses with your horse and
Yeah.
dressage. And one of our coaches that I had back in the day, she basically just wanted us to get a little bit more physically fit and stronger because it's hard work to ride a horse and take care of a horse for your whole life. So
Yeah.
my friend had started some submission wrestling in this basement in Sweden. It was a tiny little basement. And she's like, there's only guys in there and I don't have any girls to go with, so it'd be cool if you could join. So I
Yeah.
joined her for a class and I got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. I was like, I'm never coming back. I'm never doing this again. Dude, the dudes were like also 25, 30, and I was 16, super insecure. Like, what am I
Mm-hmm.
doing in this room? What's going on? Like, I don't feel comfortable at all. But
Yeah.
the coach was really good. That's the thing. To this day, I praise him because he gave us a 3 months of free training, first of all. And he's like, if you guys like it, perfect. And if you don't, that's cool too. Like, you don't have to pay for any affiliation fees until you guys feel like this is actually something you guys want to stick with. And it took me about 2 months. I still was very like, oh, maybe not. But
Mm-hmm.
just because he gave me those 3 months, you want to have free stuff. So I got suckered in. And then I did my first competition, like, I think 5 months in. And then I was
Oh,
hooked.
wow.
So that's how I got started. And my friends quit, and I just kept on going and kept on
Mm-hmm.
going. Kept getting my ass beat back in the day. I was also but jiu-jitsu was very new in Sweden, so we
Mm-hmm.
basically just had like a VHR with like a instructional with arm bars and triangles. So I remember every class was basically just do 500 arm bars, 300 triangles, and then 200 double legs, and then we're gonna spar.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's what I kind of started up with. There was no technical different guards or anything. There was basically kill or be killed, go.
Kill or be killed, fundamentals.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So you said you kept going initially because he gave you the 3 months and you wanted to take advantage of the free classes. So what kept
Yeah.
you going after, that free trial period?
I think it was just that kick, when somebody starts to smash you. And after, like, of course, the first month, you're just getting smashed because you don't know what to do about it. But then
Yeah.
as you starting figuring out, like, oh, wait, so I can do this, and I can, like, finding my frames, and suddenly you start feeling like you're choking somebody out. I don't know, it's such an
Mm-hmm.
empowering feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what got me hooked. I was like, damn, I can do this. If I can get really good at this, I can probably beat some of these guys up eventually. Because you have glimpses of like, good moments when it's like, oh my God, I almost got him. Like I almost got him for real.
Yeah.
So that I think was the biggest motivation for me to like, I can get good at this.
Yeah.
It's like on top of it too, because I was kind of a chubby teenager. So I lost a little bit of weight and got some
Hmm.
muscle. So I got confident too, and I felt good in my own body and my own skin. So that was a
Yeah.
big booster too. They're like, yeah, okay. And this is not even like working out in the gym. Like I enjoy
Hmm.
doing this. I don't even
Yeah.
think about that it's hard work.
Yeah. I feel that part of it too. Like if I'm in some kind of class and working out with people, I don't notice it. But if I'm trying to do something by myself, I notice every rep.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh my God, how much time is 15 minutes? Oh, we're not even half done. And in jiu-jitsu, it's like, it's been an hour already. God, okay, I'm ready to kind of call it a day. That's the
Yeah,
fantastic
exactly.
thing. Like you just get like sucked into it. I don't know,
Hmm.
it's a fight or flight mechanism in us or whatever that just keeps you in the moment.
Yeah. You mentioned that you did your first competition 5 months in. So what made you decide to compete?
Because a bunch of my teammates was gonna go, and
Hmm.
I figured like, why not sign up? And there was also, remember, this is back in the days. This is almost 20
Hmm.
years ago. In Sweden, there was like 4 girls doing jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
total. So I remember going in. I had no one in my division, and I think we were all spread out too. So we just ended up doing like one weight class, and then we
Hmm.
all did open weights. So everybody went against each other 2 times. And this
Hmm.
little girl that was like half my size, she armbarred the shit out of me in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And her name was Matilda, and we are now best friends. We ended up being roommates for a while when we went to university. We
Hmm.
ended up training at the same school for a while, like 10 years later or 5 years later.
Hmm.
But that was also like so motivational. She was so small and so mighty, and I'm just like, damn, I couldn't do anything about that. Like she hurt me so bad, my ego. She
Yeah.
hurt my ego so bad that I was like, damn, if she can do it like this, I sure should be able to do it too.
Yeah.
So then
It's
again, like
the
I just
little ones.
motivated by somebody else's badassness. I'm like, yep, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I've definitely had those moments as well, and definitely had my ass kicked by some smaller girls, and you're like, oh
Yeah,
man.
and be like, wow. Again, that's like the because she was so technical. That was the thing too. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, how did she do that on bar? I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah. And
And,
sometimes too, like I feel like the smaller competitors, people underestimate them, but they can get into spaces other people can't.
yeah. And especially too when you're like kind of new as well, because you don't know what you're doing. I was just going full blazing, head forward, like I'm not trying to smash her. And before you get any technique going, you get stuck, or you get somebody catches you.
Yeah. That was 20 years ago in Sweden when you
Yeah.
were 16. How has your jujitsu journey evolved over time? How did you get to San Diego?
So I started then there back in that basement,
Hmm.
and had a good trainer, but we only did no gi. Like we didn't do
Hmm.
any gi at all. And time came to go to university, so I moved to a new city,
Hmm.
and that school was very gi orientated, and I was kind of a little bit. We had this thing at that old gym that it was only like pussies who trained in a gi. Like the real men, they wrestle no gi. So I came in with that, and again, you have to remember that I was young. I was very much like, I'm hanging with the dudes right now. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
exactly like them, all cool and whatever. But so I moved to another city to go to university, and that school they borrowed me a gi or lended me a gi,
Hmm.
and I put it on. And now then I'd been training for like 3 years, so I knew my stuff. I know how to do a good kimura and arm bar, move around.
Yeah.
But then that gi, like it went right back to that first day when it's like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like
Hmm.
I have no clue how to use these scripts, and people kept just smashing on top of me. So that again like became another motivation to like, damn, okay, so this is like back to square one, but I can do this. And then I had a really good professor over there in that school who basically bought me a gi and said, put this on because I see you have so much potential, but you just gotta suck it up right now.
Yeah.
And again, because I had a lot of ego, and I still do to this day, but I kind of toned it down a little bit. But it was also again that humbling experience. Like, okay, I thought it was the shit. I guess I'm not, because this is a whole other game. But I'm
Mhm.
kinda, I know what's going on. Like, I know what to look out for. Like, you can't tap me that easily.
Mhm.
And then him also being that extra, like, no, you're good at what you're doing. Let's just try to figure this out. Helped me to become even more like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. And I just
Mhm.
kept training. And then in school too, like throughout that whole process, I got a scholarship because I
Mhm.
went into the national team eventually in Sweden.
Okay.
We have a national team in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I
Cool.
could go travel in Europe and go compete like
Mhm.
throughout school. I went to physiotherapy school for 3 years
Mhm.
and just kept doing like IBJJFs here and there. We had ADCC tournaments, Naga
Mhm.
tournaments, and that's building up my record. Got belted to my blue belt, got my purple belt,
Mhm.
got my brown belt, did the ADCC trials in 2015 and won in Europe. So
Okay.
I went and did ADCC in Sao Paulo 2015,
Mhm.
but that was also when I didn't really like I didn't really know how big jiu-jitsu were in the world because
Yeah.
I only saw like I was a weekend warrior, you know. You work all week and then go
Mhm.
travel on the weekends, do my competitions, but I still gotta go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
And then I saw this community of people competing and living the lifestyle and went to San Diego for just like a vacation slash training to like see some people and see what the jiu-jitsu was about here because everybody kept talking about San Diego, the Mecca.
Mhm.
And I just got so fascinated of like how people were just living jujitsu over here and like
Yeah.
making it work, like being self-employed or hustling on the side, training morning, noon, night. There was classes everywhere. There were schools everywhere. Like there
Mhm.
was only one school where I came from in that
Yeah.
city. There was no competition going on.
Mhm.
Like you had that to pick from, and here you could just like choose from no gi to gi classes to bow. You had the temple and the freaks here.
Mhm.
Uh, And then we went to Barum for an open mat, and I met Professor Alfredo, and he just
Mhm.
took me under his wing and like, if you want to come back, train here, you can be in my gym, we can figure stuff out.
Mhm.
So then I kind of got attached to Barum, that's in Claremont,
Yeah.
and he kept inviting me back. So every time I had like a vacation period, I basically just like booked a ticket and went to US and
Mhm.
hung out at Barum, trained, tried to compete. So he ended up giving me my black belt in 2017 with the blessings from my coaches back home in Sweden. And
Yeah.
that's and then I already had started kind of teaching privates a little bit and teaching some
Mhm.
classes here and there. So I just decided that, you know what, I'm gonna quit my life in Sweden, move to America, do the American dream. And here
Yeah.
I am 7 years later, teaching full time, doing some body work too, still working
Mhm.
as a masseuse, not as a physiotherapist, but
Mhm.
as everybody gets hurt in jiu-jitsu, it's basically the same thing. It's like, okay, I understand. You got Kimura, then throw your head, and now your neck hurts. Okay, I can work with that.
Yeah. You've got like a
So,
built-in client base.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my journey to come over here.
I think an interesting piece of that is sometimes that encouragement from one person to make that change or to take that next step. And, for you with Alfredo. And I think it's something all of us can think about, even doing in small steps and looking at the new white belt in class and just kind of taking them under your wing and encouraging them. So doing that on a smaller scale than, what Alfredo did for you, you eventually
Yeah,
coming to San Diego.
yeah, 100%. I don't think I would have done it if I wouldn't have a school that I can kind of attach myself on and the community too,
Yeah.
because it was not an easy choice. But like, I had a life in Sweden, I had a good
Mhm.
job, I had my apartment, and to just deciding that no, I wanna do jujitsu full time, which at home still to this day my mom and dad is like, when are you gonna get a real job? But it's like this is my passion. This is all I ever want. I think about that
Yeah.
when I'm sometimes gonna go teach or I'm like, oh, I'm so tired today, and it's like, no, I love this, and I know even though I feel tired going there,
Hmm.
it's so rewarding just to get to go to the class, teach, and like say that this is my job to motivate people to get better at their shit, and I get better at the same time, and
Yeah.
always evolving.
Yeah. No, they say do what you love. You never have to work a day in your life.
100%. That's 100%.
Yeah. When you first came here, were you doing jujitsu full time or were you working a different job as well?
No, I was doing it basically full time right off the bat. So
Oh
I
wow.
started out though because I came over here without my green card, just as a
Mhm.
visitor. So I
Mhm.
started trading like massages or body work or assessments for privates and
Mhm.
for other like schools to get in and train for free, just to
Mhm.
build like a clientele and a community. And
Yeah.
then as I got my status over here, it became a business, especially the
Yeah.
body work. That's how I hustled first. I was like, you got an injury, I can help you. I got a
Yeah.
table that I kept in the back of my car. So I was
Mhm.
always like, if you need some help, I can work on you. I can work on you now, later. I'll come home to you. Like, okay, figure it out. And
Yeah.
then slowly over time, I just, again, built a good clientele. And again, to this day, I still do it. I have my table in the car right now.
Mhm.
I I've been working on everybody from, Kanan, who won ADCC this weekend,
Mhm.
Sergio, one of my bosses at the school where I teach, Alfredo was my
Yeah.
client for a while too, when I've had his sciatica issues, to like
Mhm.
moms in jiu-jitsu, of course, too, that just needs a break. But that's why I kind of complement my jiu-jitsu hustle with to like body work. It's a good balance too.
Yeah. That's cool that you can kind of bring both together and um
Yeah, and I understand the importance of like recovery as well as hustling. So even to this day, like a lot of ask me too, like, do you get any body work? And I actually used to get a lot of body work from Ali Moss that you had on the podcast here
yeah.
a few weeks ago. So
Mhm.
I think it's super important. Like you got to keep your health going, and if you're gonna train hard, you got to take care of your body as well, physically and
Yeah.
mentally, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know that you still compete. So do you want to talk about the competition side of jujitsu for you as it fits into your life now?
Yeah. So like I said, I've been competing since I started,
Yeah.
and now since COVID happened, I haven't done too many IBJJF tournaments. That used to be my big thing
Yeah.
living in Europe too, because it was easier to travel, and I have a kid now as well, so it's not as easy to
Yeah.
just go all over the place.
Mhm.
So I do a lot of super fights, but for
Mhm.
me, it's it's my motivation to kind of see where do I shine and where do I need to put more work in.
Yeah.
It's that constant push to like somebody's gonna go the hardest against me right now, and we're not
Mhm.
teammates, so there's not gonna be any slack in between. More than maybe the respect you have for the fighter, but they're still gonna go as hard as they can, and then we'll expose what flaws you have and where do you
Yeah.
get better. And that's also my motivator. That this is a never-ending story. Even though people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna learn this and I'm gonna be like fulfilled and forever," but jiu-jitsu
Mhm.
right now is changing so much too that like it doesn't matter if you have a great half guard because suddenly
Mhm.
somebody is figuring out a way to break past that half guard, and then suddenly that breaking past that half guard, somebody else plays another new invented guard. So you gotta like
Mhm.
stay updated as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that. Like, okay, I gotta stay up. What's the latest? What's going on right now? Some things,
Mhm.
of course, that I've done since I started my overhook. Love my
Mhm.
overhook, and it's been working all the way through. But it's in different stages as well, and depending on who you have in front of you, you gotta always adapt. And I think that's
Yeah.
my also a big like motivation to why I always tell people like you should at least get one competition under
Mhm.
your belt. And it doesn't matter like did you like it? Perfect, keep going. You didn't
Mhm.
like it, at least you tried it. Because
Yeah.
it's different. It's so different.
It is. And it really, you brought up exactly how I feel in that it exposes holes in your game that you didn't know were there.
Exactly. Or that your teammates just doesn't like acknowledge because you don't
Yeah.
go that kind of hard in the gym too because we're all friends too in the gym. Like there's
Yeah,
always
that's true.
that little fine line like you don't call. I'm not gonna cross face the shit out of you, I'm gonna try to do this instead. But in the competition they will like do anything
Yeah.
in their power to shut you down.
Yeah. Did you get to watch any of the ADCC or CJI this past weekend?
Yeah, I watched CGI and I rewatched it again as I am a guard player myself.
Mm-hmm.
Very much. What's his name? The guy from Australia again?
Cra-
Uh.
the
Not
wait.
Craig Jones. The guy who took second. Oh
Oh,
my God.
Levi Jones
Levi,
Leary
thank you.
or Levi?
Levi
Yeah.
something. Like the way he was playing his guard too, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm just like, oh. I wanna buy his I wanna buy a private, I wanna buy his DVD now. I
Mm-hmm.
want him to break that shit down for me. I'm just waiting for everybody to look at the matches and also give me like what's he doing here that makes it so magical.
Yeah, his guard was like, and then I feel like the Aussies just came out with their leg lock game like on point because the other guy was it Lucas Kennard who came out and leg locked Victor Hugo. That was that
Yeah,
was
that
pretty
was
neat.
insane.
Yeah. Oh, the Aussies showed up this weekend because then you had an ADCC
Yeah,
Adele.
yeah, right. And I've seen her like flashing by my feeds and Instagram a little
Mhm.
bit, but I never knew like really like who she was and what her game was. And now I'm also
Yeah,
just like I'm a fan. Like
yeah,
I hope she comes back to the US too and maybe puts a seminar up. It would be cool if she would have done the girls and geese this weekend, but yeah, that's on my wish list, I guess.
yeah. No, she
In San Diego at Alcos before.
yeah she did their camp.
Yeah,
I think I started following her a little earlier this year because I was like, who's this little Aussie calling herself Daddy?
yeah,
And yeah, I'm definitely a big fan.
yeah. And she made it look so easy.
Yeah, she did.
How she tapped out Bia Basilio too, like, I'm like, wow, okay. I fought Bia Basilio. I know how tough she is. And as
Yeah,
he tapped her out, I'm just like, hats off. There's a new
yeah.
girl in town.
And then I loved Bia's reaction because it was like she's just like, yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I got caught.
exactly. That's the overhook power. Never underestimate those Frank Mir ones.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
Bia got me. Because when we did, I was thinking it was an EBI. And
Oh,
I
she
did
got
not, she got me in exactly that one. Overhook, I pull guard, and she overhooked and like cranked the shit out of my elbow. I remember it to this day. So, because that's also
oh,
usually my move. So it's even more like, damn, I can't believe that's how efficient it is too. Placed in the right
yeah,
moment with the right, timing and all that.
yeah. You
Yeah,
catch someone sleeping sometimes.
exactly.
Yeah.
It just takes that 1 second. Everything falls
Yep.
into place. The planets are aligned or whatever. There it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's tappable,
Yes.
even though you don't think they are.
And I think that's the fun thing about watching jujitsu, and like you saw it with ADCC and CJI. Like if you just, it's anybody's fight when you have people of that caliber fighting each other. So
Yeah,
that was
because I
cool.
think I think it's so mental at that point too, because
Hmm.
it's so hard that they're up in the top because everybody's out to get you. So if you don't
Yeah.
have the right mindset coming in, you're not gonna make it. You're all good at jiu-jitsu. We already know that. Now it's
Yeah.
all about who has a stronger mindset and the bigger, like, better focus to keep
Yeah.
that going.
Yeah. That's something I actually really struggle with in competition is my mindset. Do you have a set way that you go into your competitions beforehand?
I have a 2% routine. Like I
Okay.
prepare from the day before. I don't get that nervous anymore until like an
Hmm.
hour before my actual fight. But the day before I go to competition, I pack my bag, I put everything up my bed. I know exactly like what snack I'm gonna eat at what point, what water I'm gonna drink. Everything is like planned ahead.
Hmm.
And I visualize my fights a lot, like beforehand too. Like if I'm gonna pull guard, I'm gonna get to this sweep, then I'm gonna get this foot, I'm gonna do that. So I'm already like in my head ready to like I'm just gonna put this plan into action right now.
Hmm.
And then of course you run into whatever, but then you're already in the fight, so you don't have to worry too much because now we're already fighting. The rest
Yeah.
is up to again who has the better jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, absolutely.
I recommend everybody like prepare yourself for exactly
Hmm.
how you want the day to look. Pack
Hmm.
your bag so you know that you're already ready for whatever, or you have a tampons packed if you're gonna get your period. Everything is
Yeah.
down to a science. Like nothing can scare me today, or nothing can push me off guard today because I know I am planned for every scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you a music before you fight person or
Yeah, I have
uh
my headphones on. I don't talk to many people. I
yeah.
always tell people talk to me after. Like I'll come and give you a hug, or like a little pet in the
Hmm.
back, or like nice to see you, good to see you. But until I'm done, I'm kind of in my own zone.
Yeah. I love seeing people like especially the higher level black belts like you, like before their comps, they're just so focused. It's something, I hope to one day.
Yeah, you will. You will. It's all about sticking with it. It's like one day at a time, you get 1% better every day.
Yeah.
As long as you show up, jiu-jitsu will show up for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you mentioned that you teach at a number of different schools here in San Diego. So, did you start teaching when you first got here, or when did you start?
Yeah, I started teaching a women's program at Alfredo's back
Mm-hmm.
then in 2016 or 15 or 16. I don't really remember
Mm-hmm.
the exact day. And then I started teaching a little bit out in triology too, because I got connected with Fabio Santos and his
Mm-hmm.
academies. So then I started teaching their co-ed classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it basically was just random people like, hey, we need somebody to coach our kids program. Are you interested? We need
Mm-hmm.
somebody to teach our morning classes. Are you interested? And of course, I want to do jiu-jitsu
Mm-hmm.
as much as I can. And if I can do it every day, that will be the best kind of scenario. And that's where I'm at today. And I'm
Yeah.
not getting overflown with CrossFit. I have like a perfect mix now. There's no gi today. Got the kids
Mm-hmm.
program that the next day. We got some gi next day there too. We got some sparring rounds that I'm kind of facilitating. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good like mix of different academies because it's different people,
Mm-hmm.
different schools has different flavors, right? Some are more passers, aggressors.
Mm-hmm.
Other schools more guard players. The kids programs obviously is a lot about self defense as well, but we're also getting some good competitors coming through
Yeah.
right now too. That's starting to push the limit a little bit. Like we don't just want to learn how to hold people down, or we want to actually do jiu-jitsu, and it's like, okay, we can start doing some X guard here now and some De La Hiva. It's not just like close guard, open guard, sweep and pass,
Yeah.
which is
Those
pretty
kids.
cool too.
Yeah. As someone who teaches both the women's program classes and co-ed classes, what value do you see in gyms having women's classes and women's programs and then also integrating into co-ed classes?
So here I'm going to steal a little bit of, I don't know if you know who Rosie is from, is she at Autos right now? I
Atos?
don't,
Yeah, I know Rosie.
yeah, because she had a really good podcast too there when she got
Mm-hmm.
interviewed, and she talked about that the women's program itself is not something that we like, that I want to be like, should be everywhere, or should be something that you only do. Like the women's program should be a facilitator to like get into the co-ed classes. So we have a safe
Yeah.
space in the beginning to get comfortable. If somebody has any traumas they need to work through, we can do it in a safe environment.
Mm-hmm.
But then to bloom through and be able to train with everybody. Because jiu-jitsu is it's with everyone, It's a bigger
Mm-hmm.
person against a smaller person. It's a girl against a guy. It's a kid against an adult, in some senses as well. And then
Yeah.
you want your juices to be functional in all the aspects, which means that you gotta have to put yourself in all these
Mm-hmm.
different aspects as well. And then
Yeah.
if you're competing and all that, you can get a little more specific, like, okay, I want to train with people my size and all that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to see like the bigger picture there too, that we have a women's classes for like inviting people in, get comfortable
Mm-hmm.
coming into the mat. Because it takes a certain kind of woman too to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get into this wrestling room and try to, you know, hug somebody uncomfortably close and choke them
Mm-hmm.
out. Like
Yeah.
that's not normal. Somebody who had never done any physical sport maybe, or even something that together with somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big step. And to have a room where you can like, this is a safe space quotation where we
Mm-hmm.
can go and nobody's gonna go hard with you. If you tell them to stop, they will respect it because we kind of, I don't know, we humans seem to have a bigger understanding of that too because we've always been
Yeah.
on the smaller end of the stick, so to speak.
Yeah, my first class was a co-ed class, and I think what helped is that I didn't really know what I was getting into going in.
Yeah,
I might,
exactly, because it's shocking. It's like, oh my god, they're laying on top of me and they're sweating on me right now, and they're like trying their hardest to hold me down, and I don't even know what
Mhm.
to do right now.
Yeah, and then you just hit a point where you start to like make fun of like the guys when they like start dripping sweat on you. You're like, you're gross.
Yeah, because you're coping in some way. You're just trying to cope at that point. It's like I don't know what else
Yeah,
to do, so I'm just gonna accept this.
yeah. I think the women's classes they're a great way to bring women in and get them comfortable and introduce them. I think also just something, having female higher belts teaching the classes, because my first women's class was with Ale at Clark Gracie. She was the first female black belt I met, and then I've taken Rosie does a women's class at the arena, and just having these, and then I've never taken one of your classes, but I have rolled with you, and you've kicked my ass a lot. And it's been really fun. But like having these really strong women that are like black and brown belts just in the in the front of the room, like showing us lower belts like that we can do it is, I think it's
like even to this day too, like I look up to Bia Mosquita. I'm a big fan just because she's always been in the front of the room too. Mackenzie Dern, like all these badass girls who just like been, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna show the rest of the world that this is possible. And we might have to elbow our way through a little bit more because we don't have that kind of space yet, and we're not having the same appearance in that room, but we're gonna get there. And it's a process. And just if you look now, when I started, when we had like those 4 girls in Sweden, now like most of my friends at home, they do jiu-jitsu. Like obviously I'm a little also in that kind of area of life where or a community where it's like I'm gonna hang out with the people that do what I want to do. But now they have a women's program over there, and they have, I think, at least 30 girls on the mat. They go out and they have parties together, picnics together, and it's only the girls because that's how many they are. They don't have to just hang out with the dudes because they're tomboys. Like it attracts anybody, their mom, their sister, their cousin, different paths of life, and everybody's invited on the mat. Because on the mat too, we're all just equals. I don't care if you have a doctor's degree or whatever. I'm still gonna try to beat your ass, and you're gonna try to beat my ass, and after that, we're gonna hug and we're gonna laugh about it.
Yeah, I think that part of it, and then also something that didn't make it onto the recording with Ale last week is she brought up like there's no jujitsu body. Like it's something that any body type can do, and there's just you adapt your game based on what moves work best for your size.
Exactly. Like it's all about game planning it. You have mobility, use your mobility. You got strong hips, you use your hips. You got heavy hips, you use your hips. It all comes down to, and you find your way too. We all learn the same principles, but then you adapt and you make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is your favorite part or what you love most about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
The community.
Yeah.
100% the community. I mean, you hang out with all these people that are like-minded to you, first of all. All these like-minded people that also, again, just have another skill in life. So if ever in trouble, like I feel like this resonates well too, because when I came here, I didn't have any like friends yet. And then suddenly I have a lawyer friend that could help me with my green card. I had a doctor's friend that could help me before I had insurance. I had somebody who was a stay-at-home mom that could help me babysit my dog if I needed help some days. And when I got homeless for a second, somebody had a spare room, And it was just like keeping pushing you and lifting you up again. Like, we're gonna make this work. Like, what do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a great community.
Yeah. And then too, wherever I travel right now, I feel like you always have a home because you go to an academy, you train with them, or you just visit, and then they're like, "Oh, what can we help you with? What can I do for you?"
Yeah.
And maybe that's the privilege of being a black belt too, that people kind of maybe invite you a little bit more, and it's more of that kind of thing too. But I feel like that's been like since I started. Like as soon as you say, "Oh, you do jiu-jitsu," "Oh, I do jiu-jitsu too," then it's like, yeah, we got a bond now. We're gonna be friends forever. I might not like you super much, or not everybody's flavor, but I will respect you because you're in here and you're putting in the work.
Yeah.
And we know that this is hard. We both know it's hard. We both cried on the mat probably. We had our breakdowns. We have our moments of success too. But that comes with effort and hard work.
Yeah.
So that's also where you kind of can, I don't know, you're all coming together in this understanding that, yep, we're all in here. We're all badasses no matter what.
Yeah.
Because we're all putting in the same hours.
Yeah. What do you find most challenging about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and your practice?
For me, maybe it's to show up and always showing up with an open mind. Like not to always put the pressure on that I'm gonna, today I'm gonna learn something instead of always just trying to, today I'm gonna win, or I'm gonna get
Yeah,
my, you know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah. Right before I got my blue belt, I don't know, I was not mentally in a good place training. Like I think I put this like pressure on myself that I had to like perform a
Win every
certain way or
round.
feel worthy of, being, close to my blue belt. And
Yeah,
I trained like shit and I felt terrible.
yeah. No, exactly. That's the thing, right? Sometimes, and because we all have good and bad days too, and not to put so much pressure on ourselves that we always have to come in and
Mhm.
perform our best. Sometimes we're just gonna be like happy that I showed up. I showed up for myself. I showed up for all my partners here. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
the nail. You guys gonna be the hammer, and I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna feel better after.
Yeah. No, I think sometimes, some days I go in and I don't feel like training. So it's like, okay, like I'm still going to train. So what's my objective? Just have fun.
Yeah,
And don't have expectations. And sometimes those are the best days.
yeah, and then allow yourself to have that because I feel like
Yeah.
that too. That comes, I think, maybe with my competitiveness too. That I always wanna like, no, I do wanna like be my best. I wanna show up as my best.
Hmm.
And I don't know. You think that people expect that you're always gonna be your best too, and
Hmm.
sometimes you're just not,
Yeah.
and that's
No,
okay. And I think that,
exactly.
yeah, that's definitely maybe one of the more challenging things.
Yeah. No,
That's the A
I felt like,
personality thing
yeah.
going.
The what?
The A personality comes out, and then I have
Yeah.
to swallow that ego and just be okay with not being 100%.
Yeah, I know like that was a hard thing for me too when I started. Am I ever going to just stop like when we're doing like Queen of the Mat, King of the Mat,
Yeah,
situational stuff? Am I ever going to stop being the first person to lose within like 2 seconds?
exactly. Yep. 100%. I feel you.
Yeah. But eventually I guess you have to learn to let go of that.
Exactly. And knowing that, okay, today I'm going to do whatever my body and mind allows me to. I'm here. I
Hmm.
could have chosen to do something different, but I did it. I decided for myself that I wanted to show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me as a
Uh,
teacher too, I don't have a choice sometimes. It's just I feel like shit, I don't want to do this. Well, I gotta show up anyway. 'Cause somebody's gonna open the gym. Somebody's gonna start
yeah.
teaching the class, and that's me. So
Hmm.
in that sense too, my job is perfect because my motivation is that other people are relying on me, and
Yeah.
I always like to hang out with people. So it's more about again a mindset than anything else.
Yeah. As a teacher, in what ways do you try to like when there's a new student or something, how do you try to encourage them or make them feel welcome so they come back?
I always try to be very on their case the first class. Like
Hmm.
I'm here to help you, especially when it comes to the warm ups because
Hmm.
it's athletic stuff that we do. Front rows and back rows for somebody who hasn't done a front row since they were a kid.
Yeah.
Like they're a little bit older coming in. That's hard and
Hmm.
it's humiliating when you see everybody else is doing it and you're like, shit, I don't even know if I want to tuck my head in,
Yeah.
you know? So I feel like I always try to be very like close there in the beginning of the warm ups, like, okay, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through that. And then
Hmm.
as class kind of goes along, I usually just assign them to somebody that I trust in class that we help
Hmm.
this new person out a little bit, show them the ropes, like
Yeah.
get the flows going. We're not gonna do any crazy competitive jiu-jitsu today. We're just gonna
Hmm.
see what's the concept in here. Because that would
Yeah.
build a little confidence too for them to be like, oh no, I can do this. I get the swing of things. And then of
Yeah.
course every now and then you're gonna get your ass handed to you and like, oh man, I thought I did do what I was doing and I didn't. But that happened to us all. So it's
Yeah.
just different levels of it, right? But so we can get that first 2, 3 classes like, yeah, I can do this. I can beat some
Hmm.
people up. I get it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of self-regulates itself after a while.
Yeah. Well, and that's something too, like, there's that moment where we all realize the new person can like handle it, so we turn it up a little more and they're like, did I just regress? Do I suck again? And it's like, no, no, we just know that you know what you're doing or kind of do.
Exactly. So now, yeah, now we're taking away the benefit of the doubt right now and see what you actually got in there.
Yeah. So I have one final question for you. If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody going in day one on their first class, what would it be?
Take a deep breath and enjoy the process.
That's a good one. Oh, one final question. Who is your favorite like professional grappler right now?
Lachlan Giles.
Okay, yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, as he seems to have all the answers to every guard that's ever been invented. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a fan.
Awesome.
And I love
Well,
how he has a little family too, and his wife is doing jiu-jitsu as well. I know I can resonate with that.
yeah. Yeah, does your
And they're physical
I'm
therapists,
getting
so
into more.
they're like me.
Yeah, because your husband trains too, right?
Yeah, he trains, and we have a kid. We only have one though; they have two, but
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. You'll get her in there in a gi soon
Uh,
enough.
She's with me in every class. So if you have
Yeah.
met me, you probably have met Nova at some point.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually met Nova. I've just heard of Nova.
Yeah, so I don't take her to the open mats on Sundays because it's just with her dad on the weekends a little bit more. Or that's when I go
Yeah.
and do my own, like, okay, let me get my trainings and my socialization in. But you'll meet her
Yeah.
eventually, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. All right. Well, with that, I just want to say again, thank you so much for, taking the time and talking to me. Like it's like I knew some of your story, just because Harlan talks about you all the time. But it was nice to actually talk to you and hear it from you because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been a journey and it's the never ending. Again, just go back to work tomorrow, do some more jujitsu.
Yeah, I'll go to work tomorrow and then get to do some jujitsu, and
That's true.
that will make it a good day.
Exactly. No, I appreciate you so much too. This whole project that you're doing with the BJJ Babe podcast is amazing. I love to hear other women talk about jiu-jitsu. So we all can, again, like you said, we want to spread the word. We want everybody to do jiu-jitsu. I don't care what academy you're doing it at. I don't care if you do
Hmm.
gi or no gi. As long as you're training somewhere,
Hmm.
life, then the earth is a better place.
Agreed so much. All right. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
I hope you all enjoyed my interview with Sophia. It was really fun to talk jujitsu, ADCC and CJI, different fighters, and just hear Sophia's story. And I hope you all take away a key point that Sophia said. It doesn't matter where you train gi, no gi, just train, just do it because it's so much fun. And if you enjoyed that interview, give us a follow on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever. 5-star reviews are great. And if you'd like to share your story, I don't care what belt you are, I don't care how experienced you are, I don't care if you train in the middle of nowhere. I want to share your story because I want to bring different stories of women in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu to the world. So if you'd like to share yours, send me an email, bjjbabespodcast@gmail.com, or send me a message on Instagram at BJJBabesPodcast. And otherwise, give us a like, follow, review, and let me know what else you want to hear about on the show. Thanks, and talk to you later, babes. Bye.